Hello and welcome to your second verse scripting tutorial. Today we'll be going over functions, how to create them, and different variable types. Now if you followed along in the first tutorial, you should have your own script. Go ahead and open that up by double clicking. You'll see the example number we created in our last video and our print statement. First, I'll be going over how to create a function. Similar to variables, functions can have whatever name you want. And you'll see this onBegin is a function called onBegin. It has parentheses, a colon, void, and equals. Those are going to be the key parts of any function you'd like to create. You'll also notice this onBegin statement is on this first line right here. This will be our 0th indent, first indent, and our second indent. The majority of functions you create will be on the very first indentation after your device name. If we simply go down here, I'm going to backspace to create a function on this same indentation. I'll then call it generate number. We will then put parentheses, colon after your parentheses, void, and equals. You may notice this equal sign is an error. This is because we have nothing inside of this function. To get around that, we can either put curly brackets at the end, or we can write stuff inside of this function. First, I'll be creating another variable. Let's call this example number 2. I'll be using a colon again. I'll be saying int to define an integer, which remember was any number without a decimal. I'll be calling this one 7. I've got an equal sign. So now we have this variable example number 2. And now let's do print. Remember, we need to do quotations, curly brackets for our number, then we'll put that in here. And because this generate number does not directly fall inside of this code, this is not going to happen when the game begins. This generate number is only going to happen when we call it. To call a function, all we have to do is simply write its name. And there we go. So this onBegin function is gonna print this. It will then call this function and do whatever inside of it, which will print 7. So in our logs we should see hello world, your number is 12, and then below that we should see 7. Let's go ahead and test it. Remember, you always have to build verse code. And as you can see, hello world, your number is 12, and we have 7 below that. Lastly for today, we'll be covering the different variable types. First up, we'll do floats. And as always, we'll be using colons. We'll say float is equal to, we will say 12, but this time you'll see we get an error. It's because it's a type float. You need to give it a decimal value. And you do not have to write 1,000 decimals. You only need 1. You can write as many, usually up to 6. We'll go over that later. So now we have a float equal to 12.0. I don't want it to be the same as this. Let's do 12.1. So now, let's add that to our print statement. It will then print 12.1, 12, and hello world, your number is. Our next variable type is type logic. We'll type has number. Remember, we always use colons. Type logic is equal to. This can only have 2 values, either true or either false. And unlike most variables, these cannot be put inside of print statements. So I cannot just say has number. If you'd like to find out how we put this, we'll be going over that in the next video when you learn about if statements.